not have wanted Erika to, it would not have been my advice for Erika in a stage of grieving to go from being the widow to being the CEO and the chairman of the company. If I was running the company, I would have said, let's put in place an interim CEO, right? Someone below Justin Strife, I think, was the COO. I would have put in an interim CEO and allowed people to figure things out. Because it is a true statement that there's two things happening here. There's a widow, and then there is the chairman and the CEO, and that person, no matter what, is going to have to catch heat for any decisions the business is making. That's just the reality of the way the world works. When you're a CEO and you're a boss, if a mistake is made, doesn't matter whether you did it, whether you said it, whether you tweeted it, it's going to come down on you. And she has assumed that role. Okay, so criticisms pertaining to anything at Turning Point USA that are being directed at Erika are fair. Obviously, they are fair if they are directed about Turning Point USA and their actions. The second thing that I would say, and again, this is unsolicited advice, so she's free to throw it out.
It's like, lady, didn't your husband just get his face blown off like 2 seconds ago? And not to be insensitive about it, but everyone's thinking it. No one wants to be the asshole. No one wants to say it. Everyone's thinking it. Everyone was thinking it when she gave the first speech. Everyone was definitely thinking it at the memorial. Nobody wants to say it because it's inappropriate, it's insensitive. I am the troll, right? So I'll be the one to say it. I think it's super inappropriate. I think it's inappropriate. I think it's weird. It's bizarre. Something is off there, and I don't like it.
And guess who finally said what everyone else was too scared to say? Candace Owens. She shattered the silence with that trademark bluntness, voicing what the internet had only dared to whisper. Erika Kirk's reaction to her husband Charlie's death wasn't what anyone saw coming. It wasn't that people wanted to police her grief. But come on, the way she handled it, so composed, almost icy, left everyone doing a double take. Candace didn't sugarcoat it or dance around the obvious. She hit the question straight on. Why did Erika seem so ready to accept the story, instead of demanding real answers about what actually happened?
But in the entire issue and the energy right now is that people, irrespective of what's happening on paper, don't believe the story. They don't believe the story. And you are, and of course this is only a snippet of the interview, so I'm sure more will be said here, but I'm getting that you have seen the case, you think it's a solid case, she thinks it's a solid case at least, and is saying, show everybody what you have so they can see true evil. Within her capacity of chairman and CEO of Turning Point USA, they could be more transparent about what happened that day. People don't like the stuff that they've seen about Mikey McCoy. They don't like what they've seen about Rob McCoy. They don't like the history of Rob and Mikey McCoy and their involvement here. They don't like the video of Terrell. They don't believe what time text messages were sent or when the phone calls took place. You know, Rob McCoy is lying. In the areas that you can control the transparency, I think doing that would be beneficial to Turning Point USA, because I don't think Turning Point USA is going to survive if they continue down this path of, you know, Tyler Boyer late night tweeting at donors as he did over the weekend. I think he directed his fire at like John Mappin and Arena Mappin, called John Mappin a loser. I don't think that that's the correct messaging to come out of Turning.
And then Candace Owens dropped the kind of truth bomb that makes headlines. In any major tragedy, especially when a spouse dies under strange or shocking conditions, the surviving partner is usually the loudest voice demanding answers, justice, and transparency. But not Erika Kirk. Nope, she stayed quiet. No push for more investigation. No calls for clarity. No attempt to challenge the carefully packaged version of events being served to the public.
But they're doing the Super Bowl commentators with the headsets on, doing a media table. They're selling merch, registering voters. They got pyrotechnics. Is this WrestleMania or is this a funeral? Like, what are we doing here? And then, the day after the funeral, I'm getting 500 texts and emails. Erika Kirk here. I miss him. Every time I blink, every beat of my heart. Make sure to donate. $5, $15, $25. It's like, okay. Then they're doing a show. Did you see the show today? And so prescient. I said it last night. I said, I'm getting like a fake vibe. Something's off there. And people say, well, everybody grieves differently. yeah, I don't know how much mileage we can get out of that one anymore. Something's not right there. Very bizarre, weird vibe there. And did you see the show? Erika hosted the Charlie Kirk show this afternoon, and she's like, she looks like she's over the moon. She's happy as a clam. And again, who am I to judge? Everybody grieves differently. She's a very devout Christian. Some people say maybe that's just strength, that's resolve. I don't know. It's one thing if your husband dies, period. It's another thing if your husband dies at age 31, unexpectedly. It's another thing if your 31-year-old husband unexpectedly dies because he gets publicly executed with blood gushing out in front of thousands of people screaming and running away. That's like something that's altogether different.
For Candace Owens, that silence wasn't strength. It was a red flag waving in plain sight. And the moment she said it out loud, the internet exploded. Half the crowd called her heartless for criticizing a widow in mourning, saying empathy should have been the priority. The other half applauded her for saying what everyone else was whispering behind screens. Reaction clips, screenshots, and hot takes spread faster than wildfire. The question dividing everyone: was Candace uncovering a truth no one dared to touch, or just kicking someone already on the ground? Still, Candace didn't flinch. She stood by her words, claiming they weren't impulsive or cruel. Just a gut instinct that something wasn't adding up. But what really lit the fuse wasn't emotion. It was evidence. A leaked group chat flipped the entire narrative. Before that, the world thought Charlie's inner circle was grieving quietly. Then the screenshots dropped, and suddenly all that calm, private mourning shattered. Candace claimed she'd seen the private chat herself, one that included key figures from Charlie's world. According to Candace Owens, the screenshots she showed on her program were the real deal, straight from that private chat. She swore she only shared them with a few trusted people for verification, not for the world to see. But once those images slipped out, chaos erupted. The internet devoured them, reposted them, dissected them, and life hasn't been the same since. The leaked texts hinted at friction, concealed truths, and quiet doubts that completely clashed with Erika Kirk's polished public image. For many, it was the first undeniable crack in the picture-perfect facade. Overnight, social media turned into one giant investigation board. Users zoomed in on punctuation, tone, even emojis, demanding, "Why was this never mentioned publicly?" Supporters of Candace cheered that the leak proved her point. She wasn't being cruel. She was uncovering something real. Critics snapped back, accusing her of turning grief into gossip and making a bad situation worse. But either way, the damage was done. The question shifted from, was Candace too harsh, to, why was this hidden? And just when the fire couldn't burn any hotter, Joe Rogan stepped into the conversation, and everything exploded.
That, like, okay, you're saying something that's actually factually inaccurate,
right,
according to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on. He's on the roof. He shoots. He jumps from the roof. He jumps down 14 feet.
Yeah, we saw didn't they have video of him jump? Somebody had a cell phone video of him jumping.
There's
down,
a video
right?
of him jumping. So this guy, whoever it is, jumps off of the roof and lands, whether or not he's even the guy who shot him. Maybe he thought he was going to shoot him. Maybe he's a patsy. Maybe he did it.
I feel like he's a plant. Did you see the video? Did you see
know.
the person doing the investigating on his mom's Facebook?
No.
You haven't seen this? Have you seen that, Jamie? Some dude online.
His mom's got a weird Facebook. I just spilled coffee.
Very trippy. It doesn't make any sense. Like, the more they keep looking into it, the more they're like, this doesn't feel like a real. It feels super fabricated.
But here's the thing. Just like I was talking about when people are arguing on social media, it's all part of the plan. If you want things to be...
I wanted it so bad.
If you want people to lose all faith that anyone is going to solve anything, you add a bunch of... If you're going to kill a guy, you add a bunch of other wacky that doesn't make any sense, and you spam it out there at the same time. You leave a gun that didn't do it out in the woods. You do a bunch of like that.
You have an old man put his dick out and yell, I did it, I did it.
Yeah, you get some kid who has a boyfriend who's a furry, and you talk to him on Discord. I think he's a furry. I don't want to disrespect.
I don't know if that's a real thing.
His boyfriend's definitely a guy who became a girl.
and wears furry stuff.
I think they do furry sex. Or furry games. Excuse me. My apologies. I don't want to disrespect the furry sex
Shout out
or
to the
furry
furry
game community.
Yeah,
bro. Shout out to the furries because me and Duncan.
Either way, the story caught wildfire. Memes, jokes, and snarky tweets everywhere. But the moment Joe Rogan decided to talk about it on his podcast, the game changed completely. What had been a niche political whisper suddenly became full-blown mainstream gossip. Joe didn't accuse anyone or claim insider info. He just did what Joe Rogan does best. He asked questions. The same questions millions were secretly thinking but too afraid to say out loud. On air, he dissected the Charlie Kirk situation, pointing out that the official details floating around didn't exactly fit together. Why were key facts being dropped like puzzle pieces instead of one clear picture? His tone wasn't harsh. It was thoughtful, skeptical, and just curious enough to set off a cultural earthquake. Because when Joe raises an eyebrow, the internet loses its mind. Within hours, clips from his show flooded TikTok, Instagram, and X. Viewers stitched, captioned, and theorized, launching a brand new wave of analysis. One viral comment nailed it. If even Joe Rogan is asking questions, maybe it's not a conspiracy anymore. And just like that, the narrative shifted overnight. What started as a small political debate became everyone's favorite topic. From barbershops to college dorms to gym conversations. Some hailed Joe for pushing transparency. Others accused him of pouring gasoline on an already raging emotional fire. One thing became crystal clear. After Joe Rogan stepped in, silence was off the table. But the real chaos started when people began digging into the timeline. That's when the internet detectives clocked in. Fans, journalists, and self-proclaimed analysts started cross-referencing every quote, article, and timestamp they could find. And what they uncovered? A major red flag. According to Erika Kirk's version, she got a call warning her that Charlie was in trouble. But the official report shows that call happening before the incident was even logged. Yeah, awkward. Suddenly everyone wondered, was there something they weren't being told? Sure, there were reasonable explanations. Maybe time zone confusion, shock, or simple reporting errors. But subtlety doesn't survive online. The internet grabbed that detail and ran with it. Soon, side-by-side timeline videos were everywhere with dramatic captions like, "Explain this." For many, the problem wasn't the time gap. It was the silence around it. If it was just a misunderstanding, why not clear it up early? Instead, the quiet only made people more suspicious. Supporters defended Erika, saying grief scrambles memory. Critics fired back that transparency matters more than ever in a public tragedy. Whichever side you take, one thing's undeniable. The timeline mystery cracked open a new layer of doubt. And once that door opened, it refused to shut. Just when the internet thought it had seen it all, boom, the rooftop video dropped. Authorities claimed it caught suspect Tyler Robinson on a roof just after the incident. Clarity? Not even close. The clip was short, blurry, and stuffed with details, making viewers pause, replay, and analyze every twitch, only to end up with more questions than answers. Candace Owens went full throttle, pointing out Tyler's foot problem, which made his lightning-fast rooftop moves look suspicious. Side-by-side comparisons flooded social media. Old Tyler clips versus the rooftop footage. Slow-motion replays, posture breakdowns, even body proportions dissected. Did it prove anything? Not really. It only thickened the plot. Critics slammed Candace for overreacting, blaming bad angles, poor quality, stress, or misidentification, accusing her of turning tragedy into a viral conspiracy. Supporters countered hard. If authorities wanted transparency, they'd release the full footage. Audio, context, multiple angles, not this chopped snippet. The issue wasn't just, is that Tyler? It was how the story was framed. Viewers felt manipulated, led toward conclusions instead of given the full picture. As trust wavered, doubt skyrocketed. Then came the real shocker. Erika Kirk's tribute to Charlie went live, racking up millions of views and igniting a storm of mixed reactions. Proving the drama was far from finished. In her speech, Erika Kirk wowed the crowd with talk of forgiveness and compassion, even extending empathy toward the alleged perpetrator. And yes, that shocked a lot of people given how fresh her loss was. She stayed eerily calm and collected throughout the memorial. To some, it was a stunning display of faith, resilience, and emotional strength, earning praise for choosing grace over anger. But not everyone bought it. Critics expected tears, a quivering voice, or at least a glimpse of heartbreak. Instead, they got almost perfect composure. For many, it felt more staged than heartfelt. Then came the eyebrow raiser. She called Michael Mikey McCoy, Turning Point USA's chief of staff, by his nickname while honoring her late husband. Innocent slip? Maybe. But for others, the warm, familiar tone seemed oddly intimate, and just a little out of place for a public tribute. People couldn't help but ask, why was someone so close to Charlie being mentioned in such a warm, gentle tone during a memorial meant for her late husband? That moment went viral in a flash. Social media erupted. Many called it inappropriate, while supporters insisted the public was overanalyzing an emotional gesture. Critics argued her tone hinted at an intimacy that didn't belong in the setting. Regardless of interpretation, genuine grace or carefully measured composure, Erika Kirk's speech became a turning point. The focus shifted from the facts of the story to the power of perception, and in media, perception is everything. While her tribute stirred strong reactions, the debate only intensified as observers started scrutinizing the next move, the power shift at Turning Point USA. After Charlie's passing, one question dominated online chatter: who gained from the silence? And who stepped into the spotlight once the storm calmed? Almost immediately, people noticed Erika stepping into a more prominent role within the organization, representing Charlie's legacy, posting polished statements, appearing on TV, and emerging as a symbol of grief, resilience, and continuity. To many, it made perfect sense. She was his partner, and carrying on his work seemed like a natural act of honor. But of course, not everyone bought the narrative. Some argued that everything was unfolding far too fast, almost as if a pre-written story was ready to roll out before the public even processed Charlie's death. Then came Michael Mikey McCoy, casually mentioned in Erika Kirk's tribute, whose name suddenly started popping up everywhere. People noticed he had taken the reins on nearly every communication and organizational decision at TPUSA. Some claimed Mikey had become the ultimate gatekeeper, controlling messages, feedback, and public narratives. Critics countered that the group was moving suspiciously quickly, seemingly brushing aside the need for transparency and scrutiny. To outsiders, the picture looked like a tangled web of power, image, and public storytelling, where silence wasn't just grief, but possibly strategy. Supporters dismissed these theories, saying the organization was simply keeping things stable during a leadership crisis, safeguarding employees, donors, and projects. Skeptics weren't convinced. They saw the efficiency and coordination less as emergency response and more as a pre-planned transition. Either way, whether strategic management or opportunistic maneuvering, the rapid changes sparked a new question. Is this silence about personal grief or control? And once that question surfaces, it's impossible to ignore. Just when everyone thought the saga had peaked, a new twist set the internet ablaze. Rumors surfaced about a longer version of the rooftop video, allegedly showing a woman standing near the suspect just before he exited the scene. Early viewers claimed the clip appeared briefly online, was shared and reshared, and then vanished without a trace. Suddenly, the mystery woman theory went viral. Users scoured saved files, old posts, and screen recordings, desperate to prove the clip existed. Some swore they heard a female voice. Others spotted an object being exchanged. Tiny details, yet enough to send social media into full-on detective mode. Critics dismissed it as a fabricated frenzy to fill a void. But for many, the fleeting footage suggested control, not clarity. Between leaks, speculation, and conflicting interpretations, one fact remained. Confusion far outweighed answers. Erika Kirk's supporters argued she was treading carefully, shielding her family and avoiding escalation. Critics, however, saw her calm demeanor, silence, and the rapid organizational shifts as questions begging for answers. With Joe Rogan stirring the pot and Candace Owens keeping the fire alive, the public isn't after drama. They're demanding transparency. A clear, unified explanation could finally silence the rumors. But until that happens, speculation will keep spreading like wildfire. And the lingering question remains: is this merely a misunderstood tragedy, Or is there something far more hidden beneath the surface?